Are you ready? Stand by.
Welcome to the 3GS Show, episode 79. I'm your host, Dave Hartman, coming at you from the Clinton House Plantation in South Carolina. My guest this week is Nick Noble of the Rock Castle Shooting Center. This episode is brought to you by MGM Targets. Have you ever been at a match and thought, wow, I really need practice on those skinny knockdowns? Or, long-range practice sure would be easier if I had a couple of steel targets with hit indicators. Well, you can get the same quality steel targets that you see in major matches at MGM Targets. My favorite target lately has been the standard shape auto poppers. Those little things are challenging for pistol, shotgun, or rifle, and because they automatically reset, you can run more drills and drills with positional work without bothering to break for reset. Step up your practice or outfit your range and use the code DHMGM10 to save 10% on your purchase. MGM Targets is putting up some great prizes to give away to you over the next few months. June's giveaway is for a 10-inch sportsman's target like the one we gave away in March. For details and to enter, go to 3gunshow.com/MGM. Recently, I was lucky enough to be picked up as a substitute shooter for the Rock Castle 3-man 3-gun, and it was an amazing match at an incredible facility. In this episode, Nick Noble gives us a history of the Rock Castle Shooting Center, the types of matches they host, and then we break down the 3-man 3-gun. Links from this show, including some GoPro footage from my team shooting the cart stage, can be found at 3gunshow.com/episode 79, or you can just tap the album art on your smartphone and it will take you right there. Now please join me in welcoming to the show, co-owner of Rock Castle Shooting Center, Nick Noble. Nick, welcome to the 3GS Show.
Thank you very much. It's glad to have you sitting here in front of our cooling cave with 54-degree air and 95 degrees outside blowing on us. So
yeah, this is amazing. So to paint a picture for the audience, put them where we're at right now. We just got done shooting yesterday the Rock Castle Samson Pro 3-man 3-gun. Did I get all that right?
You got it right.
All right. So this is it's a local match that a lot of people travel for. And I got fortunate enough to be put on a team as a sub, and it was stinking hot yesterday, right? And
it was brutal.
It was brutal. It was brutal. And we were outside all day long, of course, as you are at a match. There's 5 stages, and then my squad ended up on the bays,
right,
where you've got that crushed, crushed granite or something like that, that kind of radiates heat a little bit.
Yeah. By
the last stage of the day, I was smoked and delirious and probably hadn't been drinking enough water I've heard tons of my guests tell me I need to do. But right now, it's going to be as hot today. But we are fortunate enough to be sitting in front of literally a cave, 6 miles deep, is that right?
Yeah, this is 6.5-mile cave called Coach Cave.
Coach Cave. And there's this breeze coming out of it, and it really feels like air conditioning. And just a little bit ago, we were doing some filming, and you can actually see your breath.
Yeah.
And that's how chilly it is. It's amazing.
It's a great place to do a podcast in front of a cooling cave in Kentucky.
I'm trying to think. I don't think I've done a podcast in a better place. This is cool. This one's going to be hard to top, too. And it is absolutely gorgeous here. There's, trees. You can hardly see the sky. And, we're just sitting in the shade and got this cool breeze going here. And we're at Rock Castle Shooting Center. And this is just an amazing facility.
Well, thank you. We love it. We love sharing it. We have a 2,000-acre shooting sports resort that my brother and I started 6.5 years ago in 2010. And it was just a golf resort is what it was, kind of an old rundown golf resort. And when we left corporate America and decided to do something on our own, we kind of really looked out and growing up in the mountains of Colorado, hunting and fishing and doing stuff, we just started taking kind of inventory of our passions and said, hey, let's go do something we love to do, not something we have to do. And we started looking at those passions and inventorying them and trying to figure out a viable business model, and came up with Rock Castle Shooting Center. Long before we found this property, we came up with the concept and went to SHOT Show for many years. And then once we kind of developed the whole concept, started kind of shopping it around and getting feedback on it from the firearms industry. And everybody's like, man, if you build a place like that, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
So
Well, and this is like, every shooting guy's dream, I've always talked to guys like, oh man, it would be cool to have a range, and then you could put a hotel on there and you'd have all the matches and you'd let people do stuff. They could double tap if they want to. And that's someone's complaint all the time once they get into the shooting sports or, shooting in general, and they find a lot of rules and everything.
Yeah.
And, I've heard at Rock Castle from a lot of people. And what you need to do is give people like a 3x5 note card because they just tell me, Dave, you got to go there. It's amazing. Well,
why?
That doesn't tell. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure milk's really good, but I don't drink milk. So.
Right.
But like nothing that anyone could have said would have prepared me for this because, like, I drive up to your hotel and it's like if you had in your mind like a hotel built in the 60s for a golf resort, like that is it.
That would have been it.
It's so amazing. It's exactly like you would think it would be.
We get the Dirty Dancing reference from the movie
I
quite
almost
a bit,
wanted to
and
say
also
that.
The Shining.
Oh,
red
The
rum,
Shining.
red rum.
I was totally going to say Dirty Dancing, but I knew I'd take a bunch of crap from my listeners anytime they see me at a match.
No,
but
we get that reference all the time.
It really does have that feel to it.
It's circa 1960. I mean, when's the last time you checked into a hotel and got a 3-inch brass key?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, it's a step back in time, and it's what makes this place unique. I mean, there's a lot of great places to go shoot with amazing facilities, and but what we have in our secret sauce, if you will, is the ability to bundle all those amenities, from lodging to the food and the beverage to the shooting ranges to things like golf and just general grounds and property on our 2,000 acres. It just makes it a really fun place to come. And it's a place where dad could come shoot and mom can hang out and still have fun with the kids, because within 10 minutes of this property you could be zip lining, horseback riding, canoeing through the national park that we border, and there's just a lot of stuff to do here. It's a beautiful place.
Yeah, and then Mammoth Cave is the national park, right?
Yeah, it's
and
our northern border, so it's a 60,000 acre national park. It's got the longest cave in the world. It's 500 miles, the cave is, and just an unbelievable natural treasure there, and they're our neighbor to the north, so that just works out perfect. So this little part of Kentucky is just kind of a little hidden gem.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. Like, so this is my second time to Kentucky. The first time I went to Knob Creek Range for the world's largest machine gun shoot. Yeah, and that was a kick in the pants, and I was blown away. The first time I came here, it was like October, and all the trees are changing and everything. And in Colorado we have two colors of leaves. We
aspens.
Well, I was going to say green and brown.
Yeah, there you go.
But yeah, somewhere in the middle they go aspen, but excuse me, the golden aspens. But here, man, in the fall it's just tons and tons of colors. But now that I'm back in the summer, like everything is so amazingly green.
Yeah,
and
we have a bunch of hardwood ridges, so it's all oaks, all kinds of different oaks and walnuts, and just a lot of hardwood. So brilliant colors in the fall.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
well,
nice.
And this property is really cool because one of the things that you were mentioning is, I think you called it the knobs.
The knobs, yeah.
Yeah. So there's all kinds of different changes in elevation that create like natural barriers for shooting into. So you don't see a lot of like the standard berms like you would see.
Like a square bay.
Yeah, square bay. Like everything's really flat. You can drop a marble and it doesn't go anywhere.
Right.
But this is like natural terrain.
Yeah.
When you think natural terrain, like this is what you would picture if you had like an idealized picture in your head.
Yeah. Now, the way the topography and our elevations lay out here, it just makes the perfect shooting backdrop, or berm, if you will, and it's all natural. So we utilize that, and that's why we can do, some crazy things here. Like we host a lot of big precision rifle sniper matches here, the Mammoth Sniper Challenge, 2 PRS Precision Rifle Series matches by Ryan Castle and Scott Satterley, all the way to 3-gun. The largest 3-gun in the world is the Pro-Am in August, and it sells out in February in 2 seconds, and just turns into the shooting Lollapalooza, if you will. And then cowboy action and 3D archery, and we've hosted the NRA World Action Pistol Championships, and just up and down. So it's we can do a lot of different things here, and the way the terrain works out and the facilities that we have really allow us to do that.
Yeah. And it's really cool that you have the ability to do that, but also like the will to be accommodating to matches and everything.
Yeah.
It seems like you guys have like the love and the drive innate in you, rather than just like, this is our shooting range, and sure, you can put your match on here.
Well, part of when I said we wanted to go do something we had a passion for, I mean, when we landed on this is, I mean, we want this place to feel like you're at Nick and Nate's house.
Yeah.
And we want it to be that inviting and we want to share it. I mean, I love taking people to the cave and sit here with 54-degree air blowing on you on a 93-degree day.
Yeah.
Things like that you just can't do in other places. And we want it to feel that way. We want it to feel like it's, everybody's looking forward to going back to the Rock because, man, that was fun.
Yeah. And there definitely is that sort of, you mentioned it earlier, you called it a family reunion type of aspect. There definitely is that sort of, like, everyone's hanging out in the parking lot and, by the fire pit and everything and having a good time. And there was live music after the match and everything.
Yeah.
It was really interesting sort of atmosphere. Definitely very unique from what I've experienced.
In most ranges and most shooting competitions, everybody goes and competes and has a great time, and then they scatter to 15 different hotels and 20 different restaurants, and it literally gets watered down. Here, that's all concentrated. So, and you didn't get to see your old buddy Joe since last summer, and now he's here, and you're catching up and having a good time, and it's all being done with good food and live music and just an atmosphere where you can relax and not have to literally, take your guns out of your truck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, which works because I don't like cleaning my guns. So, I think when I was talking to Nate, he said that you guys have been here for 6.5 years.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
There is a lot of progress in that 6.5 years. I was expecting it to be much, much longer, based on like the bays that I saw on your Cowboy Town and the level of matches that you guys hold.
Yeah.
You mentioned like looking at your passions and trying to figure out like what you wanted to do, like to make a corporate exit. Take us back to like the very first, maybe month or whatever when you guys bought this range and you're staring at like all this work, but all this potential. Like how did that feel, and how did you guys decide where to start first?
Well, my family's a bunch of artists, so and my dad and all the paintings in the hotel and all the shooters paintings and all that stuff, he painted all those. But
really?
I think with that kind of some of that blood in you somewhere, you're able to see things that aren't there, right? And and early on we saw the potential. We had the Rock Castle Shooting Center concept before we found the property, and one of the state senators was a friend of mine, and we were looking for a piece of property and wanted to stay in this area because we lived in the Bowling Green area, and we rolled out literally a drawing of what we envisioned Rock Castle Shooting Center to be, and I still have it. It's up in my office, and it's amazing to go back and look at that artist's rendition of what we wanted Rock Castle Shooting Center to be. This was 7 or 8 years ago, and to see how it manifested into this place, even to the extent that the footprint of our lodging is the same footprint of that hotel.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like weird. So anyway, back in the early days, we could see the potential. We knew it was going to be a Herculean effort, and we're guys from simple means. We're just corporate America guys that don't have deep pockets, but with the situation that we found here and being in Kentucky, two normal chumps like us and the banks were able to pull off this, and it's been developing a world-class shooting sports resort is not inexpensive, and we've had some growing pains, and it's taken longer, I think, than some people may get a little frustrated because they want to see it go faster because they love it so much. But we have no outside investors, and we're just doing this thing as we can and incrementally making it better. Every time you come back, something should be better. And anyway, so we kind of take the slowest, steady approach, and Rock Castle we've done a pretty good job of getting national and international level shooting competitions in here. So it's we've had fun.
Yeah, and it seems like you have like a real long-term view of what the potential of this place could be, which I think kind of a reoccurring theme from you and I talking over like the weekend here is like the it's the corporate environment and trying to get away from that, where you're not thinking of like the next quarter and how can we make profit for the next quarter, get a dividend, and then and then exit 2 years from now. You're thinking like super long term, and you're showing me the plans you guys have on the wall earlier, which includes like housing developments, which I think you said up to, your first 2 phases was 42
units? Homes, yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's the only Second Amendment living community in the country. So we took the golf resort living model and applied it to shooting resort. And so when you put a home here, it's probably going to have a walk-in gun vault. It's going to have an ammunition reloading workshop. It's going to have a place to park your shooting buggy. So at any time, once you check with our range master and range control, that you could go shoot sporting clays or archery or long-range rifle or pistol or shotgun or anything in between. And it's a really cool place. And the greatest thing is your neighbors are all going to be like-minded people, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. You don't have to worry about putting the truck in the garage, then putting the guns in the truck, and then
Right.
driving it out. Like you do in Colorado, you have to be cognizant of freaking out your neighbors and everything because you don't want to have any trouble or anything. But yeah, it's cool to have your like-minded people all located in one place.
Yeah, one of my
concept.
Yeah, one of my coolest memories, and I still have it. We were hosting the Mammoth Sniper Challenge. We had all these snipers coming in, and the Mammoth is brutal. They have to, in the Tough Man division, they have to hike over 20 miles over 3 days, and they have to camp out, and they have to carry all their gear with them. Yeah, it's just nuts. But anyway, all the snipers are checking in, and they're all, because they've got their packs already set up for this thing, and they're checking into the hotel, and all their rifles are, in their packs and everything, and I had 5 of them lined up at the front desk checking in, and that was one of the coolest pictures I've ever seen. Is how many hotels could you check in with probably a $5,000 to $10,000 sniper rifle on your back with the glass and the gun combined? It's just like that kind of captures the essence of Rockcastle Shooting Center.
Yeah, it really does, and it's funny you mentioned that because I've been in a lot of hotels for matches where you're checking in the front and you're like, "Yep, we're just a couple of ordinary guys," and then in the back door you're sneaking in carts and carts of ammunition.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. With the Brazilians, they come here a bunch. Matter of fact, they're going to put a house in the Second Amendment living community, but some of the pro shooters down there, they come up here and they're walking around with shotguns, and they have this smile on their face as big as Texas. It's like they're at Disneyland. This couldn't be real. This is awesome. They're chamber flags and everything. Everything's safe, but they get to walk around with guns, and it blows some people's minds, quite frankly.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just out of the ordinary.
Well, yeah, and even the ranges I go to, or we're members of or anything, it's strict rules and everything, and so to be able to have that type of freedom here, where it's just very unique. So you mentioned that you guys had drawn this all out on paper before you actually found the property.
Mm-hmm.
What was the first match that you guys did here, and was matches always part of the vision? Because it seems like a big part of what you guys do now.
Well, it actually has become bigger than we envisioned it would be at the beginning. When we were first looking at this concept, we had 2 wars that were raging. The military was, you couldn't get on in Blackwater. Mid-South was were all these training facilities for military in particular were just booked. So our first concept was to develop a property that could maybe take some of that military and law enforcement training and utilize some ranges for that. But at that time, those places were just strictly military, and there was half a dozen of them that are well known and that the military uses and still do today. And then what those facilities didn't do is also cater to the mom and pop, the everyday shooter. So there's thousands of gun clubs across the United States, but most of them are nonprofits, kind of little operations run by the members, and there's some exceptions to that, but no one was because the ranges for whether it's a military and a 5th Special Forces and a team coming up here and training, or the SEALs or whomever, are the same ranges as you can do a lot of competitive shooting. So, and the costs are the same. So if you build one, maybe you can cater to both. So our first concept was, maybe we have military and law enforcement training on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday, Friday, Saturday we do competitive shooting. It was really that simple at the beginning, and we thought, once things have changed since with the wars and everything, and the training is changed on the military side. We do quite a bit of that now, but our bulk of our business is competitive shooting and bringing people in from all over the world to come in and shoot on the same ranges that maybe some special guys were here using last Tuesday, right?
Yeah.
So
Well, similar sort of thing. The Marine Corps Reserve Combat Shooting Team was here training when I got here on Thursday.
Yeah.
And that's kind of a crossover between the two, military and competition. Like those guys have tons of experience in sort of like military activity, but not so much in the practical shooting,
right?
Competition shooting type of arena. So they were out there practicing for the 3-man 3-gun. Which is
that
cool.
was fun, and we get a lot of that. So, at the Mammoth Sniper Challenge in January, we had 72-man teams, and over half of them were active duty sniper teams.
Really?
Coming in here and shooting in real, they get to shoot on the flat 1,000-meter bays. They don't get to a lot of shooting across ridges and some of the stuff they do here. So, and like the 3-gun yesterday with the Marine Marine Reserve competitive shooting team. I mean, that was fun to have those guys here, and their new member Mark Yackley's no stranger to 3-gun.
Yeah, exactly.
And so it was fun to have them. So.
Yeah, those guys are a riot too, man. They definitely had fun in the. Or at least they looked like they were having fun in the match. They made it fun for everyone else. I was fortunate enough to be on the same squad as them. And they looked like they were having a good time.
Yep. If you can't have a good time here, then something's wrong.
Yeah, no kidding. There's no bummers here. I've noticed that. Yeah. But so Nick, let's talk about the 3-man 3-gun.
Mm-hmm.
I called it a major match, and Brian Ray's like, whoa, no, this is not a major match. And it is. It's like a local match that people travel for. It's become like a pretty big deal. There was 150 competitors yesterday.
Yeah, sold out.
Something.
Yeah. One of the most anticipated matches we host all year.
Really?
Yeah. And really, it could have been 3 times the size of that. People wanted to get in. You got to take Brian Ray. Brian Ray is one of the most humble guys you'll ever meet, and Brian Vaught too.
Sure.
We call them the Bryans, and those guys they do it because they are passionate about 3-gun and about competitive shooting. So they put all that effort and energy in, and we obviously team up with them to do it. But it is a major match. But he'll never call it a major match. He calls a local match because all he had to do is email about 15 friends and it was full.
Right.
So in his mind, that's a local match, right?
And I've seen exactly, and I've seen so many videos from like the last year or two where they've been shooting from the golf cart and just the shenanigans but it's funny because it is a major match and people take it seriously as far as like they want to be the best team or whatever. But there was so much of like what I would call like the Ray and Vaught like flavor to it, where it's like people are heckling each other.
Yeah, heckling is encouraged.
Heckling is encouraged. They're heckling.
Coaching is encouraged.
Yeah, exactly. So you get people like saying miss that target, and other people like shoot that target.
Tag him.
Yeah, exactly. And it was just a lot of fun, and it was some pretty straightforward stages, but the real stage planning came into like how you were working with your partners, and which was unique for me because I got to be a substitute. I was just kind of passing through this part of the United States, and I got fortunate enough to be in the right place at the right time where some guys were down a guy,
right,
and so I got to be on a team with Kyle Lindsay and Derek Dennison, which were awesome teammates.
Yeah.
2 dudes I had never met before. Local guys here in Kentucky. These shoot your matches all the time.
Always.
And by the end of the day, man, we were doing pretty good. We had some good coordination going, and we had all done the chest puffing up and feeling each other out, and like, all right, you can shoot and stuff like that.
We'll see how this goes. Yeah.
And but it was actually pretty cool to be in that sort of situation where I didn't know my teammates, and not telling Brian how to run it, but they probably won't listen to this anyway. But maybe next year or year after or something like that, do like a random team sort of thing.
Yeah,
that would be a pretty interesting concept. And I personally really enjoyed not knowing my teammates, but then getting the challenge of like, okay, well, how good at slugs are you? Are you good at slugs? How good?
Like how good?
How
like,
good?
When's the last time you shot one? All right. Well, it's been a year.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that that this match, the Rockcastle 3-man, 3-gun is, I think, what it captures the essence of competitive shooting, and that because, and one of the reasons Brian says this in a major match is because there's so much emphasis put on prize table and 3-gun now, and you know what? That's going away, and it's going to change. It is changing right now, and this match was, the Rockcastle Die Hard, or Rock Hard, I'm sorry, which we're going to do in March, is going to be another one. It's going to be really, really competitive, but it's about the sport and having fun and going out and shooting, and it's not about the prize table. It's about just going out and doing what we all love to do, and that's shoot 3 guns at once with buddies.
Yeah.
So that's why, he also underestimates it, but it's what makes it kind of one of the coolest things around. So.
Yeah, for sure. And I think if, he wanted it to be, it could be a 2-day match with, 300-plus competitors for sure.
No doubt about it.
Yeah, especially when you throw in the fact that, him and Vodder are the the guys putting it together because they have that, reputation, if you will, as, like, the good time guys, know?
Yeah, that's why we've been there. We're their local club, and they're about 50 miles up the road, and we're fortunate enough to have those guys here on a regular basis, and we're lucky for that. So.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, so you got to shoot with your father, Jim.
Yes.
And Andrew Dreyer yesterday.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
How did your guys' team coordination go?
Well, it's funny. My dad's 71 years old, and the guy you can't keep up with him. He runs fast, he shoots accurate, and it's like, holy crap, I hope I'm anywhere close to that when I'm 71 years old. So it's fun, and anytime I can shoot with my dad, I just love to do it. My brother and I tried it. We don't get to do that enough, really. And then Andrew, he's a seasoned guy. He's from the industry. He shoots a lot of 3-gun, and it's fun to have him. He was kind of a last-minute fill-in. Andy Steele was going to be our partner, and he couldn't make it with Mission 22, but it was fun, and Andrew helped coach us along, and we just had a blast. I mean, if you can't have fun shooting 3-gun in a 3-man competition like that and giving each other grief, then something's wrong.
Yeah.
So.
Well, especially when you've got to run back and forth and tag each other on the clock.
Yeah.
And then of course the golf cart stage.
Oh yeah.
Which was incredible, and I saw some of the worst driving I've ever seen in my entire life, and I was actually one of those people. It was terrible. I got so excited. When you get a pistol in your hand or a shotgun and you just start going fast and you're missing and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Well, once I got behind the steering wheel, I just mashed the gas. And
poor shotgunner on your side was like,
God.
Slow down!
Yeah,
slow down!
That's exactly what he said. Yeah, poor Derek, man. He had to shout at me to get me to slow down, and unfortunately we had already missed 2 clays by that time because I was all excited.
Yeah.
I figured the faster I drive, the faster he'll shoot, and then the faster we'll get this stage over.
There you go.
I was totally wrong.
Yeah, that was fun. I learned yesterday that shooting out of a moving vehicle, it may not be my strongest suit.
Yeah. Which did you do? Pistol, shotgun, rifle?
No,
there was no rifle. It was shotgun and pistol.
Yeah, shotgun, pistol. So I shot the steel.
You shot the steel with the
I was
shotgun.
first driver. So, and then my dad shot pistol. So I drove him down, shot pistol, came back, got out, tagged Andrew. Dad moved over to the driver's seat. Andrew got in. He shot the clays with the shotgun, and then drove down, came back, tagged. Andrew moves over to the driver's seat and then tags me, and then I shot the steel. And you go down, turn around, and come back, and then the driver's got to get out then and tag the last guy who shoots the stop plate, which is a clay target.
Which is good because then the timer doesn't have to run alongside the golf cart and hear each one of those shots. He just stands at the back in the safe zone.
Stays in one place, yeah.
And the last shotgun round fired stops the clock.
Yeah, and the thing about Thunder Valley and that range over there, our 2,000-yard rifle ranges, that's like the perfect place to do something like that because we're on the end of the range, and we literally, it's a safe zone everywhere for 360. Once you pass that fault line, you're good on either way. So it's a good, safe place to have a shooting competition.
It is.
Driving, shooting from a golf cart.
Well, I did learn. I shot pistol, and I did triple taps on a lot of those papers.
Yeah.
And one of them actually came up with just one hit on like a delta.
Yeah.
And I learned I'm not so good at shooting pistol on the move.
Yeah,
or at least when I'm driving 13 miles an hour.
What I learned is that we have 50 golf carts here, and maybe I should practice that.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, no kidding. I guess if you do wanna game this match, you got to get together with your buddies and do some practice like that.
Yeah. So it was good.
Yeah, it was fun. So the golf cart goes for like what, 70 yards, 80 yards,
Yeah.
and all along the right hand side of the golf cart is targets, and there was paper targets for pistol, there were clay targets for shotgun, and then there were steel targets for shotgun.
Mhm.
So whoever shoots clays, whoever shoots steel, right? And then at the end of the range where the turnaround is, there's the
Dump
dump
buckets.
buckets.
Mhm.
So a guy has to get out while the vehicle's ostensibly they would stop and let him out, right? No, but the vehicle keeps moving. Guy gets out, dumps his pistol, dumps his shotgun, and then runs back in the thing. And I saw a lot of people, and we did this too, where the golf cart's got to make a U-turn while you're dumping your shotgun.
Right.
And so what we did was we just ran in front of the golf cart as it was making that U-turn, so we would save time and it wouldn't have to slow down, because those golf carts kind of work on a little bit of momentum, right?
Yeah.
Once you get off the gas, like the engine wants to stop,
get it going again.
it's hard to get it going again. So you got to keep that throttle mashed. Now, did you?
So how many people got run over?
No one got run over on our squad, fortunately. A lot of guys did make the wrong turn around the cone, which incurred a 10-second penalty.
Yeah, those 10 seconds. Yeah.
Yeah, but we did have
2 of those. My dad and Andrew both did that while they were driving. I did not, however.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, they must have a lot of experience with the roundabouts, because that's what I figured is it makes you want to go around that cone the right way, or the counterclockwise way.
Right.
When you need to go keep it to your right-hand side and then make that turn in a dead space.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
but the other thing was there was so many people going off the road because they're as they're driving, they're watching the targets instead of watching where they're driving.
Road.
Exactly. And so as you're watching the targets off to your right, your natural tendency is to get back into like that 16-year-old mind, when you took your eyes off the lines on the road, then you just kind of drift that way.
Yeah.
And so that's what people were doing, is they were drifting so close to targets, and you hear the RO shouting road, which is trying to get them back on track, but I think that's going to cause a rule change next year to incur some sort of penalty for shots taken off the road, because there was a lot of them.
Which was actually making your shotgun shots harder if you're.
Yeah,
I mean,
because the pattern wouldn't open up.
The pattern wasn't. It was too tight. So let them open up a little bit. So.
Exactly.
But yeah, we saw that all day. It was fun though.
And then the long range stage, which was cool. We got to shoot from
the battle rattle.
The battle rattle. So from some big tubes. 3 longish range targets for 3 arrays, 3 targets for each competitor, and then you run over to shoot pistol, and what was
30 steel poppers and 3 guys with pistols dropping them as fast as you can drop them.
Exactly, and just ding, 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 ding,
There's
ding,
some
ding.
great video of that.
Oh, man.
I mean, this is fun.
And it sounded awesome, too, with just guys just wailing with pistol. And some of them were so close that if you missed, then you still knocked one over.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And, of course, they had the one popper that was set too hard and required at least 2 guys to
go to war with
it at the same time to be able to knock it over. Then you dump your pistols and go to shotgun, which there was like 52 steel knockdowns,
yeah,
with a clay stopper, and that was just a kick in the pants, because you're standing there, and if you don't think, okay, well, I'm going to start here. This guy's going to start here, and I was in the middle, so I could just start anywhere. But the guys on the right or left, they just kind of worked in. And but if you don't know where you're going to start, it's almost overwhelming, because you're just standing there in a field full of targets, and there's
what
so
do I
much.
do now, right?
Which one do I shoot first?
Exactly. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I mean, anytime you can get 3 guys shooting guns at the same time at 30 different steel poppers, I mean, those are good times.
Yeah, and then still have it be safe.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. You bet.
So, Nick, what kind of matches do you guys have coming up here, and how can people find out more about them?
Yeah, so we've got so many cool things coming up. Next weekend we host the DMR, Designated Marksmanship Rifle, on Saturday, and then Sunday is a Steel Challenge, so it's a good time to come up and shoot some long-range AR. Joe Harris's, Katie Harris's dad, who's the match director for the Mammoth Sniper Challenge, he's doing both of these matches, he and April, his girlfriend, and that's coming up. And then 2 weeks from now, we host the Mission 22 multi-gun, which is we're dear friends with Mission 22 and what they're trying to achieve out there. 22 guys are going to kill themselves today, and 22 guys are going to kill themselves tomorrow, these veterans, and there's just a crisis out there. So this match is to really drive some awareness, maybe raise some funds for them, but it's going to be kind of a real friendly, good atmosphere, 6 shooting stages, but then a lot of social stuff afterwards. So that's going to be fun. And then after that, we host, next big one is we are hosting the Industry Choice Awards. It's something that we put together this year. That's we had Recoil Magazine and right after the NRA show, and gun companies submitted products for Rifle of the Year, Pistol of the Year, Shotgun of the Year, Ammunition of the Year, and Accessory of the Year. We had 30 independent objective folks from some military law enforcement, everyday civilians, some gun buyers from people like Cabela's and NBS, the distributors, to professional shooters in evaluating all the products over 3 days. And Recoil Magazine is going to do a fall edition of their buyer's guide is going to be based on this award ceremony.
Oh, cool.
So the evaluations were right after the NRA show, and then in July we're hosting the Industry Choice Awards, where people can submit from the industry, can bring a 4-man team here for 2 days of friendly shooting, and we have some really cool social things. The reception's going to be at the Corvette Museum, where the sinkhole ate the 7 cars.
Yeah.
Our reception is going to be literally on top of that sinkhole in that big rotunda at the Corvette Museum.
Huh.
And then that's Thursday night, and then shooting during the day on Friday, a big pig roast and bluegrass music festival up here at Friday night, and then shooting on Saturday, and then on Saturday night be a former awards dinner where we'll announce Pistol of the Year, Rifle of the Year, Shotgun of the Year, and stuff. So, and we'll have between 50 and 70 teams from the industry, executives like presidents and vice presidents of marketing and that of basically every gun company out there here. So that's coming up. And then, golly, we've got the Rockcastle Pro-Am 3-Gun Championships in August. We're hosting a big HAVA, Honored American Veterans of Field, Fort Campbell's Family Fun Day coming up September. We have the ladies multi-gun in October, the Blue Ridge Mountain 3-Gun Championships in October. Caliber Events is another great ladies deal. So anyway, so much going on every weekend. We'll host over 40 shooting competitions here this year. So a lot of weekends we'll have 1 or 2 or 3 going on at once, whether it's a registered sporting clays shoot or a 3D archery shoot or maybe a USPSA pistol shoot. So,
wow.
But you can find all that on our Facebook page. You can follow us on Instagram and of course, our rockcastleshootingcenter.com.
Cool. And I'll be sure to put links to all that in the show notes and everything.
That'd be awesome.
There's a couple questions I ask all my guests when they're on the podcast, and you mentioned that you've listened, so you probably know what's coming.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to ask you, what is your most spectacular disqualification?
Most spectacular disqualification?
Yeah.
I'm kind of a naive optimist.
I don't mean as a human. I mean in competition.
Oh, in a competition? I thought you meant me. As far as the facility?
No, as far as like DQ.
Oh.
Tell me about a time you've been DQ'd, and then we're going to ask what we can learn from that.
Oh, yeah. Well, at the Rockcastle 3-man, 3-gun shoot last year, my brother and I teamed up, and we were shooting, and is actually the only match DQ I've ever gotten. And he put the AR rifle down. It was actually unloaded. But he put it down on the table and spun to go tag me, caught it on his pants, and flipped it off the table. No. Yeah. So what do we learn from that is slow down a little bit.
Yeah, just
put the gun
a
down.
little bit.
Yeah. So that was probably the worst one. And other than that, I've been very lucky. I'm so slow.
Yeah.
That I don't make too many errors in that regard. So I need to speed up and maybe I get DQ'd more, but I don't want to get DQ'd. But anyway, so that's probably the most spectacular disqualification.
Right on. Well, where do you see the sport of 3-gun headed?
Well, I think that I'm so proud, and I think we played a part in the sport of 3-gun becoming so big, and I just love to see it that way. And folks like 3-Gun Nation are doing some awesome stuff. You got so many major matches, outlaw matches out there that you literally can go out and do what's considered a major match, within hours of your home, and I don't care where you live now, and that's pretty cool. I think 3-gun is gonna change a little bit. I think it's gonna trend a little bit more towards USPSA and that kind of stuff in terms of the prize table. These gun companies cannot continue to support and will not continue to support 3-gun at the level that they have. I think the major big matches are going to continue to have huge prize tables, but I think it's going to get more into kind of what the 3-man 3-gun was this weekend, is the essence of the sport and competing, and a little bit less prize table oriented would be my guess. And it's just, you can see the writing on the wall there, and I think that's probably where it's headed, which isn't a bad thing, but some of the pro shooters won't like it. I mean, they make a nice living doing it, and I don't blame them, but I think there'll still be enough major matches they can get that, but you're not going to just be able to go to some regional match and have a $75,000 prize table.
Right.
It's just not going to happen. So, but I think the sport's going to continue to get bigger and bigger and bigger. I mean, it's too much fun.
Yeah, it really is. And, I think it was Kupika last night, or maybe Nick Molina mentioned that it's going to be more about the competition rather than what the what you can get in the end.
Yeah.
So the spirit of the competition and more USPSA style.
Yeah. That's where he's dead on. I think I see that as well.
Well, Nick, this has been really cool, and it's fun sitting here by this cave. If you can leave our audience with just one thought or one piece of advice, what would it be?
Let's see. Get your kids' friends, and get your wife and your wife's friends out onto a shooting range. Teach them how to be responsible around firearms. Teach them how much fun guns can be and shooting. We've seen it for the last couple of days here, the camaraderie and the stuff that's built around a shooting range and a wonderful shooting competition. Somebody said, there's an older gentleman, his son was shooting, but they're from Missouri yesterday. He said, you know what, these people right here are the backbone of America. And he's right. This group of people that do what we do on ranges is the backbone of America. So I guess my biggest advice would be just take somebody that's not used to being around guns, or maybe he's a little nervous about guns, get them out and teach them how to be responsible and have fun. And what I've seen especially with the ladies, is that they're a little nervous at first, but then the confidence just starts to ooze out of them, and it's empowering to be out there, and they've really accomplished something. So give that gift to somebody this week.
I like it. That's a great final thought, and everyone should try to get out there and do that. I like that.
Yeah.
Well, Nick, thank you so much for your hospitality, man. This has been really cool. You let me stay on your tennis court, which is really nice.
Yeah.
And I really liked shooting your match and checking out this facility. And so thank you for the tour and for the talk, man. Thank you.
Hey, you're welcome here anytime. We'll roll out the red carpet for you.
Awesome. Well, I will definitely be back, no doubt about it, because this you can't stay away from this place. It's amazing.
Thank you. We like it.
I hope you enjoyed that interview with Nick Noble. Rock Castle Shooting Center is absolutely incredible, and if you haven't been there, it is a definite must-see very soon. Links, including video of my teammates Kyle and Derek and I shooting the golf cart stage at Rock Castle 3-man 3-gun, can be found at 3gunshow.com/episode 79. And don't forget to sign up for the June giveaway of the MGM Targets 10-inch Sportsman's Target. Check it out at 3gunshow.com/MGM. And when you make a purchase at MGM Targets, you can save 10% using the code DHMGM10. You can also support the 3-Gun Show podcast by using our affiliate link when you shop at Brownells. Just go to 3gunshow.com/Brownells and shop like normal. If you like the show, please tell a friend, subscribe on iTunes, and leave a review by going to 3gunshow.com/iTunes. Thank you so much for downloading, listening, and subscribing to the show. I'm Dave Hartman, and I'll catch you in the next episode.
If you are finished, unload, show clear.